Welcome to Cause Before Symptom. Today, we have a special guest, entrepreneur Nicole Orozco, author of The Frequency Code and owner of Elixir Publishing House. I've known Nicole for a few years now through our collaboration with the Flame USA newspaper, and she stumbled across a machine that transformed her life instantly. So inspired, she actually wrote a book about it and to document her entire journey. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, James. I'm so grateful to be on here, and I'm so excited to just chat with you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's so good to see you too as well. It's been like a few months, and I always love hanging out with you guys. Okay, so from what I've read, I read the book. Nicole's book is called The Frequency Code, Unlocking Health with PEMF and Terahertz Wave Therapy. And she details her personal journey using Pulsed Electromagnetic Field, or what would be called PEMF, and terahertz wave therapies to treat chronic pain and other health issues stemming from a childhood spinal fusion that she had. Mm-hmm. And she explains the scientific basis of these therapies, focusing on how they improve cellular energy production and nervous system regulation. And Nicole integrates personal anecdotes with research findings to make complex scientific concepts actually accessible and simple to understand. Her book also explores the therapy's potential applications for various conditions, including mental health challenges, and discusses treatment protocols and integration with other healing modalities. And finally, it offers hope for individuals seeking natural, holistic approaches to healing and well-being. In fact, I am just about ready to buy one myself to use for my son, Oliver. So, Nicole, tell us all about how you found this and what it does for you and your family.
Well, I found it because I was desperate and I was praying. So let me give God the glory first above frequency or medical things or
Amen.
Anything like that. So my journey's been a long one. I had a spinal fusion when I was 13, almost 14, and I had to wear a body cast for 6 months. And they broke 10 vertebrae in my thoracic spine, fused them back together and put a Harrington rod in. So the boys used to knock on me, and I did. After that, the only thing I couldn't do, which I was bummed, is I couldn't ice skate the same and do the jumps because of the, if you jumped and the traction of the rod, right?
Okay.
But I body surfed, I did karate, I did, I rocked on in Hollywood, the whole teenage experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was but I always, at 19, I had an anxiety attack, like a panic attack. I had to go to the hospital. So that was my first, and I thought it was trauma or just, adrenaline. And so I went on a journey to get a psychology degree, early 30s, had 4 kids, the whole life, just normal, but a lot of anxiety. And I didn't know why. And also asthma. And that has to do with the spine, I found out. So
asthma, wow.
Yeah, so that was fascinating because, I went to hundreds of doctors, went to practitioners, went to naturopaths, supplements, MLM companies, all the newest, greatest things. At 50, probably a little before 50, I was working selling fireplaces and spas and high-end patio furniture.
Okay.
And the last 2 years of that job, I was a design consultant. I started feeling neurological symptoms. So great. Now I've had them my whole life, but this was debilitating. And so my back, I felt like I had a slip disc and I'd have to wear a heating pad. And I felt like I was going to pass out with customers. So I went to doctors, got blood tests, thought it was lupus. I had the fibromyalgia, all of this stuff. And I went to a neurosurgeon and he said, you have flat back syndrome. You've lost 2 inches in height. Your spine is kind of collapsing around the rod with arthritis.
Ouch.
And we'd have to do a revision surgery. So I went to another second opinion, top neurosurgeon. He agreed with the findings, stenosis, all the stuff that goes with degenerative disc disease.
Okay.
And he said, you're out of luck. Like, can't you fix at least my slip disc? And he's like, you're out of luck. So carry on. I start a newspaper Anna has to wheelchair me in the airport. Nobody knows, because I believe what we speak manifests into form, right? So if I focus on illness, I'm going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
If I focus on mental health, I'm going to be deficient. If I
Right.
focus on anything. So the flame was a purpose to save America. You know that, like
Mm-hmm.
to spread information, spread truth like wildfire. But I'd go to Anna's and I'd get vertigo. I'd have to lay on her bed and do those weird things where you turn your head because you feel like you're going to throw up and you can't see the walls straight. And at the end of the flame, I started getting like silent migraines with floaters, you know, like the auras.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
driving and then the auras would come on. You can't see, it's really scary.
Yeah.
And anxiety is happening this whole time, right? So this has not, I just won't speak it. And, you know, so it got to be a lot of stress. I was doing 2 newspapers and I'm having all these physical symptoms. So I think, oh, maybe it's because I'm doing too much. I know my nervous system's burned out. And so then after I was leaving, I think I was sad too, because that was a big heart felt project for me. It was a big deal. So I'm feeling a lot of processing, and so I'm thinking I just have to process through these feelings. But then which I've had before, I start feeling like I can't get a full breath. And it's terrifying because it feels like you're suffocating, not like asthma. It's like you can't get it's so I'm like, okay, I know this is my spine. I know it's my neck. It's cervical instability. I have every symptom, high heart rate. I have high blood pressure, which I've never had. I have these anxiety attacks that I'm getting afraid to leave the house, right? So I keep ditching out on events. I own a paper and I keep ditching out on like all the stuff I get invited to because I'm feeling like I might pass out.
Wow.
So I'm on my way one day. I'm getting to the point.
No. Take your time.
Yeah. So I'm feeling this way and I'm praying, God, like you have got to help me. I want to be around for my grandbabies. I have responsibility with this paper. I'm trying to do the best I can. And I don't want to live this way. Basically, I'm getting a little scared, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I'm feeling like, should I go to this event or go to ER? That's where I'm at. Like I go and I got it. Finally, I get invited to this networking event. And I literally on the way, my husband's driving me. I'm not driving anymore. And I haven't been, except even now I'm not even going to the store. You know what I mean? Before I'd drive around here. And I crick in the morning, like my neck. So I know it's something to do with my vagus nerve. Like I do enough research. I'm like my vagus nerve. And so I'm breathing, doing these buzz sounds, like holding your thing, and you take a deep breath. I'm going, bzz,
yeah,
you know, as
just getting desperate. Anything that you've heard or read about, just trying it.
Yeah, I'm trying all the breath work. I went to a frequency place, a healing studio. They had Tesla coils. They have this room that you lay in this this whole like frequency stuff and singing bowls and prayer though. They're good into prayer, so I felt good. And all the the essential oils and all of it. And the water, and I go and I'm still not better, but I put an article in the paper because I promised I would, visiting that one place, but it's $70, right? I can't afford to go $70 every single day to try to get healing and pay all this money for all this stuff. Like, it red light therapy, chiropractors, which I can't do because of my rod, but maybe they could do my neck, I was thinking, or something, but I'm afraid of that. So I'm like, that's expensive. Like you have to go to facilities to go see practitioners, and I can't go. I'm running a paper. I don't even want to go out of the house at this point, but so I go to this networking meeting. I bring my stack of papers. On the way up, my husband's, do you need help? And people are watching me walk up the stairs. Do you need help? And I'm like, no, I got up. I sit down in the back corner. I somehow pull myself together and I get to speak for a few minutes, like not even a few minutes, like 60 seconds. Somewhere in that speech, I said, I have a granddaughter with autism. I didn't mention my stuff. I'm not up there going, yeah, I feel like I'm going to pass out now, but
Right.
so I'm like, I have a granddaughter. Somehow that came out of my mouth. I don't remember where.
Mm-hmm.
So this lady, Sue, chases me down and she says, you've got to see this machine I have. It's frequency. I go, oh, I have an article on frequency this month.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of coincidence, right?
Very.
Yeah. And she goes, you have to see this. I go, well, call me. So she starts blowing up my phone, this lady, like blowing it up. And she's like, ding, ding, ding. I'm trying to write a new book. I'm writing for this doctor. I've got this whole idea. Like, I'm going to be this publishing house because I could sit on my bed and do it. I don't have to go anywhere. Right. So I'm just going to do my thing. I'm just going to do me. I don't want the next best, latest, greatest, whatever. I want help, but I don't believe it. Right.
Right. And I'm the same way. I'm the same way. We, with my son, he's autistic. We have tried 50 different machines, from red lights to healing things that do pulses of things. I've been there and nothing has seemed to work for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's chasing me down. Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, and this is the way I speak in my head. So I'm going to say what I'm thinking. I didn't say it on the text. Thinking, dude, you're blowing up my phone. Yeah. But instead, I'm like, hey, you're blowing up my phone and I'm trying to get something done. And it's literally pattern interrupting me. And then I thought, oh, there goes my autistic part, like just that speaks that kind of blah, 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 blah. Right. And I'm like, I was just rude. And so I call her up and I said, I don't mean to be rude, but literally when I hear the ding, I'm trying to get something done and I can't shut my notifications off. She goes, look, and she talks to me this way. She goes, you said you have an autistic granddaughter. Yeah. You have got to try this machine for her because I will loan it to you. And I'm like, okay, I have a vagus nerve thing I'm trying to heal. She's all, it'll help with that too. You just got to come pick it up. Okay.
Wow. She felt so confident in her product that she loans it to you.
Yeah, she loans it to me. And I'm like, okay. So I go, even on the way there, I start feeling that on the way to pick it up. I'm like, oh, should I turn around and go home? No, I really probably should try this thing because she sounded confident. Right. But I'm feeling that way. And I have Kaylani in the car. I have Chuck in the car driving me. I got my daughter in the car. They have to sit for a half hour while I go to some Patriot meeting, right? Because that's where she was, and which is weird too. And so I sit there and then she brings out, we go outside, she brings the machine. Well, it was weird because Kaylani looks at her and it was like she was looking at an angel. That was weird.
Like she could see her aura or something?
Like, yeah, like she smiled and had this countenance that I've not seen her do with strangers.
Like trust.
In fact, I don't see her do it with anybody.
Yeah, she's very, it takes her a while to warm up because she's autistic, right?
Yeah, so she doesn't get that. Usually she'll say you're a poop face or something. Like she's not going to have this look on her face of God. Like it was weird. And I'm like, that is crazy. And so then I get this thing home and I put Kaylani on it first for 5 minutes on a low, low, low frequency. She poops like 5 minutes later and she hadn't gone potty for like 6 days because she withholds because she has that GI. We've taken her everywhere. Yeah. We've had her on Miralax, on Senna, GI doctors, magnesium, you name it. I've had practitioners send me special stuff, food. Diet.
So she holds it in because she's autistic. It's a sensory thing, and you can't get them to stop doing that. They will continue doing it, meaning her sensory is she has to hold in her feces in order for her to feel better, and it just makes it worse and worse and worse. So once you tried this on her for the first time, then she just went to the bathroom.
She just walked in the bathroom and pooped.
Okay, so what is this machine? What did you do? How do you put it on?
I still have the story. So then I try it.
Okay.
And the next morning I wake up and all of a sudden I could breathe. And
you tried it at night, then you fell asleep and then you woke up and then you could breathe again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my neck wasn't cricky.
Okay.
I had full range of motion. and I didn't have that crunch. And I was amazed. Like, I'm not saying everybody will experience this, was my experience.
Right.
Then I'm like, what is this? And then Jasmine, she slept that night and some of her varicose veins kind of diminished a little. So
what?
I start doing this research. So I call the lady. I don't know what this is, but this happened.
Right.
And she sends me this back end thing for whatever the company is. I end up buying the thing like 3 days later, but she sends me this back end and it had all the white papers, all like hundreds of hours of research. I go on and I dig my own case studies out. I didn't even know he had white papers on there at the time. I didn't need to do any of it. I did not need to write this book, but if somebody sees it on Amazon, maybe they'll get help, right?
Right.
So I did not need to write it because it was all at the back office, but I start compiling it into one place. And so I just literally wrote a book in 3 days. I did it with all the tools available. It was me just putting it together and taking information and putting it in. And
so you felt so good that you wrote a book in 3 days?
Yeah. I compiled all the information, got my testimony in it. It wasn't my information. All I did was take videos and take all the papers and put it in a book.
Right. But that's still a lot of work.
It was a lot. I probably did 20 to 30 hours, but I'm sitting on this machine and I'm seeing if it makes, I'm wanting to make sure it's working and that I keep feeling the way I am. Right. And so I keep doing it and I'm like, I need a book on this. And then once I learned I don't need a book, nobody needs a book on this. They could literally get every information on that website, but I didn't know that, when you're just so excited. And I felt better. I'm like, I need to tell the world about this. That's why I did it. And so I started, and that was not my thought process to even, but I'm like, I'm going to tell the world. So then people started trying it and or hearing about it and started getting it from me. So I'm like, I guess I have to learn this because this is going to be my life work. I switched. I'm like, I'm putting the publishing. It's still there, but I'm going to charge $5,000 to $10,000 to write somebody's book. I was going to charge $1,000. I don't have time. And I'm keeping my newspaper. And that's that's a lot of work. And so I pushed the whole dream I had. I was working on a dream. I had a vision. I still do, but I'm not going to do it because I am literally going to change people's lives with this machine. So I am now driving and showing people and letting them try it and lending it out. And I just bought, they have a water thing that does the PEMF in the water. It's called MRET. And you could put your Kangen or your water well or whatever, your best water that you do, because it doesn't compete with anything you're doing. It's going to help you absorb supplements better. It's going to get your mitochondria to move. It's going to produce ATP. When they have slides, when you go on that back end and all the information, you could see the blood work, kind of like what I've seen on some of the blood work slides but it's way better from
the before and after, you mean?
Yeah, before and after. So it shows that the blood is actually getting oxygen, yeah, and it's producing ATP. But my vagus nerve, I'd say, is 95% better right now.
Wow. Wow. And you're able to sleep.
I'm able to sleep. I mean, I still wake up a few times. I'm sleeping better. I wake up without my neck crunching, and I'm able to breathe. That's the biggest thing, even though I'm coughing right now because I'm talking too much.
No, it's okay. So what is it? What does it do?
What it does is it gets the frequency just like the earth. So it's the PEMF is the magnetic, the electromagnetic frequency, and it pulsates and it goes up your meridians and it goes, and it's what our cells crave. So before we got all toxic and we got all with the, the internet and all the signals were bombarded with all of these frequencies, right? Well, our body is meant to tune into the earth. God made us a certain way.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
antennas, and
that's
we take energy from the earth, and yeah.
so like hugging a tree, how they say to ground yourself,
Okay.
because that's going to ground you. And they have all those like rife. I'm not an expert. I put the book out, but I compiled other information.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is it works. That's what I know. And so it grounds you and it sends up these frequencies up through the meridian, your feet, and it churns every cell in. You're like a battery,
So
is what
you stand on it.
I sit and put my feet on it. It's like
Okay.
metal plates.
Okay, and you put your feet on it and you
Uh-huh.
sit and then you turn it on and do you need to adjust it or anything?
You can, like, they say go low and slow.
Okay.
And so I'm doing a 1. The highest I've done is 3. It goes up to 10, and the bigger machine goes up to 20. And so what happened too was I had an age spot. This was not even on my radar to fix. But I had it and it was raised, and I thought I should probably go to a dermatologist. I have one on my back and one here, and this was raised. So I started thinking I should go get a biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
It disappeared.
What?
It disappeared.
How long? Like within a span of what?
Within a week.
A week and it's gone.
It's gone.
What?
I was like this, and I'm like, because you could always feel it. You want to scrape it off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like that scabby brown, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is that thing? Like, that is nuts. And then my back had little sores on it. I thought like maybe I have skin cancer or something, right? And I thought it's probably my rod and constricting, because it felt like my skin was dying in the back. Because when I'd take a shower, I could feel like it just felt like it was like not good. And I thought my back is causing all this constriction, like my nerves, right? Mm-hmm. So it's probably not getting blood flow or oxygen. And now those sores are going away. I'm trying it on that other thing. It's going down. It's not all the way gone yet. So it sends this, and then the terahertz waves are like the layers. So there's nothing in the country that has both terahertz and PEMF. There are PEMF, and there's the Rife and all.
I've heard of those. Yep. We've tried those.
All of it.
But they were always gigahertz. I've never even heard of a terahertz, which is one step higher.
Yeah. And it's safe. It's not like, it's what the sun would do to heal you. You know what I mean? Not the radiation but it's what we need. And so I felt no effects, and I'm the most paranoid person on the planet. And, and with my rod and everything, I get afraid to take supplements or anything, because if I detox too much, I know I got heavy metal.
Wow. So where can people get this machine?
Well, I'm having a webinar on Wednesday night. They could go to elixir.olylife global.com.
And I'll put that up. Yep.
Yeah. elixir.olylifeglobal.com. And it runs like, right now, I think there's a special for 3 days that's like $70 less or something.
What?
But it's like, it runs like $13.50, right around there, for the basic model.
Okay.
Then they have a one with wands that right now I'm borrowing, because I have my other one out with the people.
Right.
And like this little lady, she's this Jesus lady. I call her my spiritual mama.
Yeah.
And she's 80 years old, and she taps people. Like, Chuck loves her. And she'll go to the supermarket, and she acts like Jesus. Like, she's not like all preachy or judgy or anything. She's like, where they call her a clown lady, but she just wears this little hat, and she brings a hammer and prays over you and taps you on the head. And she goes, and that's her joy, is to love people. She was depressed because she couldn't get out and love people. And so she tried it, and I brought it to some other friends. And the next day she calls me. She goes, I haven't felt this good in years.
Whoa.
I'm so excited. Like, I need to have this, And so that's my story. It's all in the book, and my book's on Amazon for like what, $15 or something.
Okay.
And I don't care about book sales. Like, if you email me, I'll send you a rough manuscript. That's not my intention, is not to make money on a book. I don't care. It was to get the information out. And you could email me at either elixirpublishinghouse@gmail.com or Mill Creek View, which is my paper, millcreekviewus@gmail.com. And then I'm having a webinar with the top guy. Okay, so get this.
Yeah.
So then I'm like meeting, like, who's the top guy? I need to talk to these people because I have a lot, like Dr. Tenpenny should have one. All these people, like, even if they have their own supplements, their own line, whatever, if they're out to help people, they need to show people this. It's a miracle type of thing for me, at least, and for other people too. And so I met the top guy who brought it, and then Jennifer, and she's the only one that ever knew about my vagus nerve and phrenic nerve. And she had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is gnarly. And she was a practitioner with all kinds of these PEMF machines and new doctors and the whole bit. And this one doctor had an $80,000 machine. She goes to this thing, and I hope I get the story right. And she sees this little machine with 2 metal plates on it. And she goes, "What is that?" And he goes, "Do you want to try it?" So she tries it. She's all, "Where'd you get it?" And he's all, "China or something." She hunts this sucker down, goes to Asia, hunts it down, and brings it to America. And this company's like 30 years old. So it's not like a fly-by-night company.
Right.
But they developed this technology. It's either 3 or 6 years ago. Again, I'm 3 weeks in.
Right. That is fascinating. I am so intrigued that I'm going to buy one myself, because I want to try it, not just for me. I don't have problems with my neck, but my gosh, my son, he needs something to where he can balance himself out. I do know that grounding is a real thing. This is now mainstream. Everyone's talking about grounding. They're also putting, they're even plugging into the electricity just to do grounding. And this actually provides a terahertz. So it's like one step above all of the others. And they say it's very safe, and it's been selling like hotcakes right now. I cannot wait to get mine and then try it out and show the audience, because I'm worried.
One more thing, the difference between the Rife is that you're trying to get the PEMF through your skin. This actually charges every cell, but so you become the battery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to put up your information right now, and we're definitely going to put this up on my show tonight, so people are going to check this out. Nicole, thank you so much for being on the show. It was great to see you, my friend. I love you, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to work for me and my son.